Penyo, do you mind just clicking there on the laptop? Thanks. It's 10 past.
It's 2 minutes. What? Okay.
Sorry. All right. Thank you everyone for your patience. We will officially start. It is 10 past 5 on our side. Once again, thank you so much for your time this evening, taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening. We'll start off by introducing ourselves, who we are, and I'll go first. I am Zinhle Sigola. I previously clerked for Justice Chikri, then I clerked for Acting Justice Chaskelson, and I am currently clerking for Justice Madlanga. I attended the University of Free State, and I soon joined the Constitution Mill Court, rather, after graduating last year. These are my co-clerks, and I will give them the platform to introduce themselves shortly. I just want to have a couple of housekeeping rules. Please make sure that when you enter, you immediately mute yourself. If you want to show your video, that's absolutely fine, but please do mute yourself. You would enjoy seeing your lovely faces. Please do make sure that you put all your questions in the comment section, as well as any clarity that you might need. We do have other faces in the background. The faces you see here are just not the only faces here. There are co-clerks helping in the background. Our main moderator is Penyo Skati. They will be assisting us today. Thank you so much. So I'll hand over to my co-clerks now.
Hi, everyone. It's good to have you. My name is Tandolwe Tujele. I am an admitted attorney, clerking for Justice Chikri. I did my LLB at Walter Sisulu University. I did my master's at West University in environmental law, and I'm currently finishing my second master's in tax law.
I think ladies first, so yeah, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Deborah Duba and I'm law clerk to Justice Matopo.
Hello everyone, my name is Mchiwa. Clerk for Justice Mhlanhla. After completing my articles at Inc.
We do, just a reminder, please do mute. It just affects the sound. Today is have a brief overview of what we do, the programs that we're part of, the application process, recruitment process, purpose of the program, responsibilities, application tips here and there as well. please that you can get clarity on how to get into this program as well. So I can start off with basically giving you an overview of what the purpose, responsibilities, and perhaps touch a little bit on the benefits of the program. We will also later on touch on the opportunities, which is linked to opportunities as well. So I think we can go ahead and start. So we can talk about what it is being a law clerk. Let's start with the purpose. So the purpose of the role was originally created to give law graduates fresh out of varsity, the opportunity to grow their legal minds and also to broaden the horizon of what legal field really is. I think as a person that came here fresh out of varsity, I can attest to the fact you do end up feeling that you did very much in varsity.
Yes, I
that
will.
All right, so there we go. All right, so as I was saying, as a person who came here fresh out of university, you do tend to feel that you don't know too much about the law and how it works practically. And I think being a part of that program really does help you in that sense. It was created to have a relationship with judges to see how that job works as well. Broaden your legal mind, as I said. And I think that could be a good, broad, brief description of what the purpose of the program is. I'm not sure if any of my co-clerks want to add. They can add at any given point. Do you think that is succinct? That's enough?
Perfect, yeah.
All right, so we can move on to responsibilities. Just to give you like a broad view, you assist your judge in every single aspect. If they have a speech to write, you assist in that. You assist in research in terms of judgments, hearings, etc. So I'll give you a brief 5 points perhaps on what the duties and responsibilities and your key performance areas will be to officials. We work as a team very much at the courts. Everything is very teamwork related. As much as you should know how to work as an individual, I think working with other people is a key aspect that you need to have in your skills as well. The second one is write and prepare a lot of legal opinions and a lot of legal opinions, and ensure that the draft judgments is the third one. The draft judgments are clear, consistent, and comprehensive. And the fourth one, I did mention 5. It's a 5. The fourth one is ensure that the division up to date on recent developments in case law, practice direct, and what your responsibilities will entail. One of the benefits, really cute, as you can see, we all have these cute little badges. We feel like extremely important people, court officials. That will be one of your benefits, but we will get deeper into what the opportunities that come with being a law clerk are, even after your time here is done. So I think that wraps it up on my part. And I'd really love to hand over to one of my colleagues.
I'm next.
Yes.
I'll be speaking basically on the application requirements. Firstly, the documents and also the skills that are required of you when you apply. So firstly, I think is the most important one, which is the qualification. You need to have an LLB degree from an accredited institution or any 4-year legal degree. I know that there's people who have BProcs and the likes. They can also apply because that qualifies as a legal degree. And yeah, and also in terms of the documents, you need to make sure that you submit your CV with the latest Z83 form. So you have to make sure that when you Google for that form, you look for the latest one, the latest updated one, because if you don't use that one, it means that your application will not be considered, because before judges can read your application, the HR department has to make sure that you have all the relevant documentation and they are of the right quality and order. And then another document that you need to submit as well with your application is the written sample and obviously the cover letter, but I'll start with the cover letter. So basically the cover letter, you basically tell the judge about yourself, what you've been involved in, probably since varsity. You can mention all sorts of things like the societies that you're involved in, for example, your social justice societies, your SAOLA, your BLA, you can mention those and all of the experiences that you have. Basically, you're telling a story about yourself and you're telling the judge why they should hire you. So it should be really a selling story. And then another document that is very important also is the written sample, where you basically write about a topic that you find interesting. It can be a topic on anything. I would advise that when you are writing or choosing a topic, you should choose a topic that you are well versed with, that should be able to answer questions on. Because I remember in my interview, I think my written sample was the one that I was largely asked on, because it was based on an environmental issue, particularly climate change that's trending. So I had to be knowledgeable about each and every aspect of my written sample, and I was therefore able to respond to all the questions that my judge had for me. And then another thing, the reference letters that you need to submit, please make sure that you speak to people that will be able to answer when they get a call from this court to ask how is Zinhle, how is Muche, how is Debs. You don't want to make someone write a letter for you, or you don't want to make you write a letter for yourself and then submit it, because it means that they're not going to be able to, give a good reference for you. Like I said, we basically draft everything and assist the judges with literally everything. So written communication skills are very important for this job. Emails, everything, they're very important. Also, your research skills are very important, and you need to make sure that you always skills. Obviously, the interpersonal skills as well, because you will be dealing with your judge and also other clerks as well. There's seminars that you hold here, which require you to be someone who's able to deal with people, and you're able to effectively communicate with people. And then another skill that I think is also important, you need to prepare, because once you get here, there will be a time where you become a senior clerk. So that means you need to be a good leader, because it basically means that the chamber of that particular judge will be in your hands. So skills, communication skills, and all that. Muche will add on the aspect.
Thanks, Sando. Maybe just to add one thing, that new Z83 form is available on the judiciary website should you need it. That's where you'll find it. And then as the foreign law clerk, I'm just going to give some tips on how to go about the application and a few things that you need to look out for as you apply from wherever you are. The first thing would be to, in as much as you should apply through the normal procedures using the application to Ms. Elizabeth Motolo. Her email address is emoloto@concord.org.za. Is very helpful for the foreign law clerk specifically. Then another important thing that you need to know is that the position of a foreign law clerk is unremunerated. So you are essentially a volunteer, and it means that you have to sort out issues of funding prior to coming. Often that's why we ask foreign law clerks to apply early so that you have your response and you can make funding arrangements well in advance. Although you should apply through the normal timeline, January to March, foreign law clerks can apply at any point in time. The general period for a foreign law clerk is 6 months, but there's possibility of extension for another 6 months. There have been situations where people have clerked for a shorter time because of whatever time constraints may be available. But I do think that the general period still is 6 months. It's also important to note that timeline. Sorry, we're just going to have whoever's using an iPhone to mute, please. We're good? All right. The timeline for interviews also for foreign law clerks is a little bit different. You may not hear back within the same 3 months. You may hear back in 2 weeks or a longer period. Don't be discouraged if you haven't heard back as soon as you expect. And the last thing is that it's important to indicate the period that you're applying for. As I've said, the timelines of foreign law clerks are flexible. So it's important for you to indicate when you would like to come to the court and when you'd like to end your period. I think that's about it. hand over to Deborah to, oh, yeah,
Sorry,
Thando, go ahead.
before Deb starts, another thing, so whatever qualifications you say you have in your CV and your motivational letter, please make sure that you submit them, all of them, your LLB and academic transcripts, and all your documents should be certified. Yeah, I think that's very important.
Sorry, I also have to chime in, yeah.
So,
Volunteer visa that I spoke about, it's important that you make this application early. And the Department of Home Affairs, you can just Google the Department of Home Affairs. Yeah, yes.
I'm so sorry. Can I also just chime in quickly? The email address that was provided by Machengeti, that is specifically for foreign law clerks. If you're not a foreign law clerk, please do not submit your application on this email address. The email address, from my understanding, will be shared in the chat. That is for foreign law clerks. If you're not a foreign law clerk, please do follow what the job description states and follow that email address. I cannot stress that enough. Cool. Deborah?
Thank you. So just to add on a bit on the application, it's preferable that all the documents be consolidated together. So it's CV, motivational letter, reference letter, academic report, and your matric certificate is part of your academic report.
Yes.
And that's all I want to say on that part. And I'll also just be speaking about the recruitment process. So if you are successful, you will get a call from the Office of the Chief Justice, and then an email that will follow up. And then you will also get another email from the specific chamber or judge rather, judge's chamber that wants to interview with you. If you're lucky, you will interview, you can, it's possible to interview with more than one judge. And then you'll have to prepare accordingly. And then with regards to the interviews, they generally happen around June. And the interviews can happen online or virtual, but that can be communicated to you. Even if you're outside of Gauteng, the travel arrangements and so forth will be relayed to you accordingly. And I think once the interview happens, the results come out around September. And if you haven't heard anything in September, you can follow up with the Office of the Chief Justice to see if you're successful or not. And I think that just covers everything that you would need to know around the recruitment process once you're successfully shortlisted.
Can I add, I heard back in November, so yes, I had lost hope, but don't. Like what I'm saying is don't lose hope. It might take longer for you to receive like a call or email, but obviously if by the time January the next year comes and you haven't heard anything, then just still be hopeful.
Or
reapply, but just stay hopeful at all times.
And there's nothing wrong with reapplying. I just want to emphasize, even if you're not successful the first time, you can apply twice. And I was
Three
lucky.
Three
So,
times.
yeah.
3 times.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
3-time gang.
I applied once, just to clarify, but what they applied multiple times
Thank you.
and they still got through. That's what I'm saying. Stay hopeful at all times. I think this is an opportunity that no one should miss in their legal career at all. And also, I think just to provide clarity on what the job is, it is very legal based. So you do need to have a legal background, a law background, studied in LLB, studied at Big Proc, just to add on to what Thando said. It's law. So I think it's really important that you do have a legal background, just for clarity, because I think the term clerk can confuse a lot of people on what the job description actually requires and what you need. And also just pay attention to what the job description actually states in the papers, and be very, very careful with that. Read over and over if you don't understand. Also right now, ask questions and we can answer them. I think that's very, very important.
Just to add, please note that if you don't submit the necessary documents, you will be disqualified for purposes of your application being checked. Say, for example, you only submit one reference letter, it means your application will not be considered because it was supposed to be 2 recommendation letters. And also with the CV as well, like if you don't submit all the qualifications that you mentioned there, you will be disqualified. So please, I think there are instances where people have like really good grades and they have really like compelling cover letters, but they don't submit enough documents and they get disqualified.
Yeah.
So please be mindful of that and make sure that you submit everything that's required of you as per the advert of this application.
If through this webinar today, you realize that you might have neglected to submit a certain part of your application, I think it should be allowed that you can resubmit, but please resubmit your entire application. Yeah, all right,
Okay. Obviously within the
time frame.
Yes,
Don't
before the 31st.
before the 31st of March, yes. I think Debs and I will then talk up to what it's like being a clerk
Yes.
here at the Constitutional Court.
Okay,
Do you want me to go first?
go ahead.
Thank you, Deborah. All right, so we'll speak about the court culture, what it's like. I think from a personal perspective, I think it sounds dramatic, but I think it has changed the trajectory of my entire life, being that this is my first job as fresh out of varsity. And I think the experience that I've gained here is absolutely valuable. The connections that I've made with people, everyone around me is an admitted attorney, an admitted advocate, or doing really great in their lives. And I think I value what I learned from them. And that creates a very helpful court culture. Hence, I said in the beginning that you really need to know how to work as a team. When you come here, we don't expect you to know everything. You're not going to know everything. And you learn that through your co-clerks. You learn that especially from your judge, through the engagements and the discussions that you have with them as well. And I think that's something that you can't get anywhere else then except for the Constitutional Court. So I think we've really managed to create, or rather not us, but the people that have come before us have managed to create a culture that you feel welcomed, and it's an environment where you can learn so much and really build on what you know as well, and hopefully become a super giant in the legal fraternity as well. Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's great. I think more on the timeline level, I think that's what I'm going to focus on
Yeah.
is when you start as a law clerk, you either start in the January intake or the July intake. The idea is that there always needs to be a senior law clerk and a junior law clerk. So a senior law clerk would just be somebody who's been there 6 months prior, who will kind of carry on the institutional knowledge and share that with the junior law clerk. And so, yes, so basically as you join, it's orientation in the first 2 weeks, and then you clerk and go through, you clerk as like you go through recess, term and so forth. And then once your senior law clerk leaves, you become the senior, and then you basically pass on that knowledge to the junior. And so I think that's basically, it's a 1-year timeline.
Yeah.
And I think that just speaks to the general timeline of being a law clerk.
Yeah.
And in terms of important events,
Uh,
I'd say the important events are term and recess.
Yes.
So term is just basically when all the hearings take place. That's very intensive, hectic. A lot of work is done during that time. And recess, it's still a lot of work, but that's mainly when judgments are handed down and judgments are written and so forth. And then, I think we also just take other events seriously, like public holidays, especially ones that commemorate our democracy.
Yes.
Quite recently, we were participating in the human rights events, and there was a whole festival and everything around Constitutional Hill. So that was very exciting. And then, we also have clerk committees. I don't know if they want to go ahead and
We can
speak about
tag team
them.
on this one.
Okay.
So we have committees. So it's not all work and more work and legal opinions. We do have clerk committees. To name a few, we have an alumni committee. We have Venice committee, prisons, and library. That's just to name a few. And then we'll obviously explain what it means. Alumni committee is when we're all done here, we want to stay connected because we love each other so much. We all want to stay connected, and hopefully if there's a job opportunity that another person hears of, they can share it up with you or with any other clerks that you used to work with. And I think when you get here, you also realize that there's a magnitude of great lawyers in South Africa that started their careers here. And I think the alumni committee will help put you in touch with those people as well. And then we have the prison committee. As the Constitutional Court, we need to ensure that all people's human rights are adhered to, and prisoners included. So we could conduct prison tours to ensure that they are living in healthy situations. They have access to their basic rights as well. So that's a committee that's been formed here at the Con Court. And then we have library in Venice. I'm going to tag you in.
So the library committee is basically the Constitutional Court has a library, and it's actually a public library, but it's mostly for the Constitutional Court and for the use and so forth. So there's a committee that coordinates that, but it's also available to the public.
Yes.
And then there's also the art committee. If you see the Constitutional Court is set up as a living museum, and you'll see the architecture and even the artwork. There's a meaning behind everything. Those tours also just happen, doesn't have to do with the clerkship, but it also happens separately, but clerks are also part of that process. And the Venice Commission pretty much is a relationship that the Constitutional Court has with other apex courts in other countries, where if, for example, those courts want our legal opinion on how South Africa would do, what they would do in terms of our law in certain situations. And so the Venice Commission is kind of an exchange between all the apex courts around the world. So it's pretty interesting. And I think that's pretty much in all the committees.
That's true.
But then there's also opportunities.
Yes.
And that includes scholarships and the badges, but mostly scholarships, and the scholarships that are specific to people who've been previous law clerks or current law clerks. And then there's also scholarships that are available to the general public. So be on the lookout for that one. But those are the kinds of opportunities that come with having been a clerk and so forth.
I think that sums up perfectly. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Muche, and thank you, Tando. I think that sums up perfectly what we wanted to give you a brief overview of. We are aware that we might have not covered everything that you have questions to. Hence, now we will definitely open the floor to any questions. As I said, we do have our main moderator in the background, Penyo Skati. She will read the questions to us because we cannot see them, unfortunately. And then we'll try our utmost best to answer them to the best of our abilities. Penyo?
So first question is there an age limit for clerks? So 35 or below?
No. So there isn't an age limit. There used to be, but currently the application has no age limit. So I
Yes.
say go for it.
Go for it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Second question, are those people with permanent residences, are they allowed to apply as clerks, or do they have to apply as foreign clerks? So those who don't have South African citizenship.
Permanent residents can apply, but like you, I think you can apply for both if you want.
I was gonna say, the safe thing is likely to apply for
For
both.
both.
And should you be shortlisted, you have the conversation with your judge. But yes, if you do have permanent residence, you can apply.
Also remember, foreign clerks are not remunerated.
Very important.
Apply for both.
Okay, somebody asked if a research proposal, if that is sufficient as a written sample.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
that is very sufficient. So you can include your written proposal as a written sample. And also please make sure that you know what you wrote on. Be prepared to answer questions on your written sample. I'm not sure, was it Tando that mentioned that written communication is extremely important. So if the judges can see through the written sample that you submitted that you know how to articulate yourself very well on paper, that will work in your favor. So be very careful what written sample you choose to submit.
Sorry, can I add, just please avoid if, you know, the whole title, the proposal in the thingy,
That's
just
important.
avoid including that part of your proposal. Maybe just start at the introduction part.
Yeah.
Like the topic and then the introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important because some people just admit their assignments.
Yeah, a
as they
proposal in
are,
the
but you
fulfillment
yeah,
of-
I think just make it distinguishable for this application.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's some people who just write a whole piece just for the application itself.
Yeah.
But please don't, it mustn't say which university or which year
Yeah.
you wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of people are asking about their qualifications. One person asked if a BA law degree is sufficient, and a couple asked if they can apply if they're currently in their final year, their final LB year.
I applied in my final LLB year, so that answer is yes. I think I want to open this to my co-clerks if a BA law would qualify.
No, it's clear.
No, it's
LLB.
they're saying a 4-year.
LLB.
Legal
So I think once you do your
qualification.
BA, then do that.
Yeah.
Then you can apply.
Okay, someone was also asking about the whole dynamic between junior and senior clerks, and how that works exactly.
I don't think there's much of a dynamic. I think it's just purely labels. If you've been here 6 months longer than I have, you're my senior clerk, but the work that we do is exactly the same. The responsibilities that we have, how we treated by our judges, exactly the same. It's just one person's been here 6 months longer than you have, so they become your senior clerk, so that they can help with that skills transfer. But a junior clerk once would do as well. So there isn't a dynamic. You're the same person, same level.
Okay, someone asked about the scholarships. What do they cover?
So the scholarships, they generally come out, I think, around May, June, and they'll specify what they cover. But if you check the website right now, you can see, you'll be able to see what the various scholarships are. I think there's 2 that are always running generally, but I can't speak for certain now. You'll just have to be on the lookout on the website.
Yeah.
around June.
I think a general thing you can say is you're likely to get a tuition waiver. I think both of the scholarships give you a tuition waiver. The other stuff, go on the website, you'll find it there.
But just to reiterate what Deborah said, please do check out the posts that are on the website now for the previous scholarships. And I think I'll give you like a rough estimate of what the ones that will be released this year would cover as well.
And sorry, the international scholarships, just to emphasize, it's not
Yes.
scholarships in South Africa, it's international countries. So it's usually the UK and the USA.
Yes.
Okay, someone also asked if they need proof or certificates for short courses that are included in CVs.
Yes, you need proof for everything in your CVs. If you did a short course, we want to see the proof that you did the short course, the certificate, your degree that you say you have. We want to see a copy of that certificate. We want to see your academic transcript. We need proof.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just to emphasize, it's always your core, like if it's an LLB and an LLM, things that are mostly specific for this job, those are what you should focus on.
Yeah.
But it's better just safe to just.
Yeah, application, please do attach it. But proof is very important. We want to see that what you said in your CV is what you really did, and we want to see that certification.
Okay, next question. Is it advisable to apply for both January and July intake?
So when you apply, it does say when will you start, and you need to indicate. So if you're able to start immediately, say immediately. If you're able to start in Jan, say Jan. If you are able to start in July, say that as well. I think it makes preference, not preference rather, but it makes room for that in your Z83 form, where there's an actual part that says when will you be able to start. So if you're able to start both in Jan and July, then you can say that.
I think the same for foreign clerks. Indicate when you'd like to come, and that way your judge can plan accordingly.
Also, just to add on the Z83 form, if it says please write in capital letters in black, please write in capital letters in black. Just follow instructions.
Someone asked if the court allows you to attend graduations and such during your tenure.
Yes, you're definitely allowed to attend your graduation. Just like any other job, you have leave here as well. You don't.
Graduations, admissions, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you have leave and you can apply for leave and then attend your admission, attend your graduation. Yes, that is allowed.
Okay, 3-part question from another individual. Firstly, they were asking about the structure of their CV, how it should be structured for ease of reference. Second, they asked if they can have more than 2 recommendation letters. And then last, they asked if the written sample can be over 6 to 12 pages long.
So let's handle.
What's the
What's the
first
first
part?
page?
The structure of the CV. I think
Structure.
the CV has to speak to your qualifications and things that are relevant for this post that you are applying for.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything more descriptive, like name, surname, ethnicity, all those things are important. Just general things that are important for the role. And I think the next is reference
the
letters.
reference letters, yeah.
I mean, if you have, if 10 people think you're amazing and they're relevant.
But I would recommend that if the application says 2 reference letters, keep it to just 2 reference letters.
Yes.
If the application had asked for 3, then you keep it at 3. I think it's important to follow the instructions because there's a whole lot of applications that come to the court. So the chances of them reading all 10 of your reference letters is really slim. So choose your best 2, your top 2, and then submit those.
I think the same with the 6 to 12 pages, I think. In the
Oh, no.
prime
Yes,
version.
just
Yeah.
follow it's 6 to 12 pages and make it 6 to 12 pages as well. I think it would be quite difficult to read through a, let's say, example, a 50-page document. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, someone asked if they can submit a confirmation letter, confirmatory letter, if their degree certificate is still being held by the institution.
So what I did when I applied is I just submitted my academic transcript, and your academic transcript will say that you're not completed with your degree, but you're in your final year. But if you can get that confirmatory letter, I think that's 10 times greater.
It feels like it the next day. The next day we execute.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are still quite a number of questions. We will not be able to cover all of them. So I'll just take 2 questions and then I think we'll be okay to wrap up. So somebody was asking if there is a difference or what the difference is between being a law clerk and doing your pupillage.
I think those are two fundamentally different things.
None of us are advocates. I don't think we'd be able to answer.
Well, I think pupillage, you're an advocate at the end of that process. This process is not going to make you an advocate or an attorney, though it is a good experience. And a lot of people do go to the bar after completing clerkship here. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I agree that it does help pave whatever way you wanna pursue after this program. If you want to be an advocate, to obviously be a great advocate because you get to see other advocates making their submissions, and you get to see like what you should do and shouldn't do when you presenting, and also during discussions with your judge about a case, you get to see where they went wrong and where they went right, and you like literally get to take away like a piece of skill that can help you when you are an advocate or an attorney. So it's a very helpful process. Like it equips you with all the kinds of skills that you will need when you leave this program. So yeah, in as much as it's not like pupillage, but it does give you that skill because you get to see your, your senior counsels here, and you be inspired and you want to do better and do the same as them. So yeah. It's really helpful.
Just to emphasize, everyone comes from different backgrounds. Some people come straight from varsity, some people just finish articles, some people are advocates, and then some people are academics, and some people just go on to do something completely different or continue. So I don't think anything should disparage you whether you're coming from any kind of background applying.
Yeah.
But it is distinguishable for you to have clerk, and I think you will just thrive in your career. Yeah,
Someone asked whether they would be expected to leave the LLM program if they're currently doing their LLM.
No.
I'm currently doing my LLM now, and I'm still here surviving.
It's just about workload. I think the
Balancing
biggest
workload, yeah.
difficulty is about
Time management is very,
Yeah.
very important. If you think that you can juggle both, then go
Yeah.
ahead and juggle both. But you don't have to stop pursuing your LLM.
Also, I think it's best to let your supervisor know that you are in this program so that they can be lenient with the timeframes as well, like in terms of you submitting your thesis or your LLM work.
And let your judge know as well.
definitely
Yes.
let your judge know.
Can you complete the form electronically?
Yes,
Yes, you can.
the latest ones do allow you to complete it on a
Yes.
PDF document.
Should you specify which judge you would like to work for in your cover letter?
The judges choose.
I don't think that the advisable,
Advice, yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the judges choose you, but you will meet your favorite judge in the whole.
And also, your cover letter, please don't submit a generic cover letter. Like your cover letter should really state why the constitutional court, why do you want to clerk here at the court specifically? Not a cover letter that you'd submit for articles or any other job. I think it just shows more dedication and reasoning as to why you should be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically a what do you bring to the table question.
Yeah.
I think like Deb said, you may actually interview with more than one judge. So if you specified one judge,
You've just limited yourself.
exactly. So
It's shooting yourself in the foot, so
Exactly.
don't do that, yeah.
A couple of people are asking about the copies that they need to certify. There's a bit of unsureness. So should all of your documents be certified, or are they only certified when you're shortlisted? Is a question that's been coming up.
No, I think you certify all your documents for the application, not only when you've been shortlisted. By the time you've been shortlisted, we've considered your application. So the documents such as your ID, your academic
record.
transcripts, your qualifications, your certificates, that should be certified for the application. Yeah.
We understand that the confusion might come from the fact that the advert does say you can submit uncertified documents until you shortlisted, but I think it's advisable that you certify all your documents now
Yes.
when you apply.
And if you are successfully shortlisted, just come with certified copies of your document.
good idea.
Because it would
To
be
the
within
interview.
3 months
Yes.
still.
Can you submit reference letters from your institution? From your
By
university?
institution, do they mean your lecturer?
Or generic ones, no. It has to, I think the reference letters must speak to yourself. So it should be ones that come from maybe a lecturer.
Yeah,
So it has to be
yeah.
The clerkship begins in January and July.
1st of July, 1st of January, whichever comes first. Obviously, if it's a weekend, you can't start on a weekend. You're a
Yes.
public holiday.
So you spend your New Year's Day at work.
No, it's a public
That's
holiday.
not
So you'll
true.
come on the 2nd. You'll come on the 2nd.
That's not true. You would come on the 2nd of January.
And I think there were 2 people who asked about consolidating your documents into one PDF. Maybe just clarify on what that means exactly.
Okay.
It's just it's preferable, so it reads better when it starts off with your cover letter, CV, reference letters, and academic record. It's not a train smash if you don't. It's just preferable
I
that
think
you
it
consolidate.
is. I think it is a train smash because I think the application now says you must
Oh, okay.
put it in one PDF file. And what I would suggest is that you put it in the order in which the requirements ask for it. So the first one is a Z83 form, then your cover letter, then your CV. Put it all in one PDF according to that. It's easier to read through, and it's mandatory, so you have to do it like that.
Also make sure your documents don't get lost.
Yes.
That's happened in the past.
Yeah,
So
because one thing will go missing, but you
Yeah.
already actually had it, but it's gone.
Yeah.
Can you be considered for January when you specified July as your start date?
Yes, you can be considered for January. You can be considered for whichever period that your judge needs you.
it's the preference thing.
Could you please just clarify the university reference letter situation? Apparently there was an issue with our network.
Okay, Debs?
Oh, so with the regards to the reference letter, it mustn't come from the institution itself. I mean, obviously somebody from the institution, so it mustn't be a generic letter. I think the one that people usually use when they're going to start articles, that's not the one that you would submit. You'd submit something that speaks to you. So get recommendation letters from people who know you, who've interacted with you, and that can speak to your legal skills. So you'd have to get it from a lecturer or someone, not the entire institution itself.
Maybe from a lecturer that you've tutored for.
Or your supervisor for your mini dissertation.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think those are all the questions. Yeah, those are all the questions covered.
Right.
Thank you, Kenya.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us once again. We really do hope that we've managed to answer all your questions. I think maybe one thing that we can touch on is personally contacting us. I don't think you should do that. I don't think it's advisable. We can't help you any further than we've helped today. We can't assist any further than we've assisted today. But we do you guys want to add to that?
If you need to follow up, you can contact the OCJ and ask to speak to Human Resources. They will be able to speak more about the clerkship, the specific clerkship in this court.
Yes.
Yes, I would say that's the main communication channel going forward.
Yes.
That's where you should.
If you missed anything today, hopefully, crossing fingers, holding thumbs, crossing our toes, that we can post this on our YouTube channel as well, the Constitutional Court's YouTube channel, and then you can just rewind forward and see what you missed. We do wish all of you the best of luck for your applications. Yes, we hope that you guys one day also sit on the side of the screen and get to experience what we've experienced. Leave it to my co-clerks if they want to add anything.
Best.
Yes, good night and goodbye.